Hi everyone. Today is a brief explanation of longitudinal trenches for pipelines. Okay, the contour levels have been plotted at 4-metre intervals along the centre line of a proposed pipeline and recorded. The 4-metre intervals are the distance the contour levels are apart, so it's just the distance between contour levels. Station A has a pipe invert level, design level of 98 and falls to station L at a grade of 50. Station A is the location and the invert or design level is the bottom of the pipe. Normally the trench is excavated 100 millimeters deeper to allow for the bottom of the trench to be straightened using blue metal. These are this is the information we've been provided. The stations are the location, the contour RLs are the heights. A longitudinal section is a side section of the excavation showing the contour levels and the pipeline grade. We'll just scroll down a bit. So here we have our locations A, B, C, etc. through to L, and here we have 0 being the starting point, and then our intervals of 4 meters apart. A through to L gives us 40 meters, and what we have then, we have our grade of 1 in 50. Now 1 in 50 means to get the fall per metre, we divide our 1 by 50, which gives us 20 millimetres fall per metre. If we'd like to know how much fall there is over 4 metres, which are these distances apart, our intervals, we times our 20 millimetres by 4, because that's our 4 metres, and we get 80 millimetres fall per 4 metre interval. If we'd like to know how much fall there is over the 40 metres, we just get our 20 millimetres fall per metre and times it by 40 and gives us our 800 fall over 40 metres. Okay, so we have our contour points listed here, A through to L, which is in the information above. We have our design level, which is the bottom of our pipe of 98. And at point B, which is 4 metres away, we have to have another design level. So our design level will be 4 times our 20 mil, which is 80. So we take 80 away from our 98, which gives us 97.92. And then at C, we take a further 80 millimeters off, and that gives us 97.84. And we will continue to take 80 millimeters off at each point through to L. How we get the depth of trench, we go from our contour point, which is supplied, we take away our design level, and that gives us 3 meters. At point B, we have our contour point, and we take away our design level, and that gives us 3.3 meters. At C, we have our contour point, we take away our design level, and we get a depth of trench there. Now, what we'll do now is just look at how we set up our contour page. Okay, halfway up the page we insert our 98 invert level, which is this point here. Now it's only a generalization, it's just roughly halfway up the page. We then we've calculated our distance over 40 meters. Is going to be an 800 millimeter fall. So what we do, we left click on our arrow and I can drag it around and move it wherever I like. I then click on format, and because it's an 800 millimeter fall, I can just click these arrows and I can go down to 800 mil. I left click, I drag it over to our invert level. I then grab the left click again, and I pull the line up to to the bottom of that arrow, and that's our 800 mil. All right, now the next step you take is we need to put our graded pipeline in there. So I take this line, I put it on this intersection right there, and then I have to intersect through that point there as well. So that's our grade. There we have our grade, that's our pipe. Now to get the distance from our RL, invert level to the top of the ground. We've got a distance there of 3 meters. So I left click and I grab my arrows. I click on format. I then put this up to 3 meters. And then when it's up to 3 meters, you can see the numbers are going up. I just grab it. I left click again. Put it over. Left click again. I put it on the bottom of that blue line. I completed this contour level, so I'll just delete that. I would grab this is what I'd use for our contour height. I left click, I grab it, and I just put it in line with the top of the arrow. And I go through that process. The next one would be 33, so I would then go to format. I would go up to 33.3 and I left click and I put in the 3, hit enter, and my arrow now is exactly 3.3 meters apart. So what we would do, we would then go, it goes from the trench. Okay, so, and that's, look, you won't get it exact, but you'll get it pretty right. But this has already been plotted. So the next thing you do, you go to insert, left click on shapes, go to the squiggly line. And what you do, you left click and you draw. You drag your mouse along through those points up and down. Doesn't have to be, 100% accurate because it's pretty difficult to do. Okay, and if you stop halfway along, that's what happens. Okay, so you've got to keep your finger on the mouse the whole time. Okay, and what that indicates then is your contour level, and that's your ground level. So this would continue on up there like that. All right, good luck.